The Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD, was inaugurated on September 9, 2025. With its current 13 turbines, it is supposed to produce 5,000 megawatts of electricity each year. When fully operational, it will produce 16 gigawatt-hours of electricity. By comparison, the Akosombo Dam produces 1,020 megawatts of electricity, whereas the Aswan Dam in Egypt produces 2,100 megawatts of electricity annually. Therefore, the GERD is more than just a massive infrastructure project. It is a powerful and deeply symbolic testament to self-reliance, national unity, and a new era of African development. For decades, Ethiopia, a nation rich in history and natural resources, just like many African countries, has faced a complex web of challenges. These challenges have ranged from persistent poverty to a global political system that has often overlooked or exploited its interests. The GERD, a hydroelectric dam on the Blue Nile River, stands as a shining example of how a nation can overcome these obstacles by leveraging its own will and resources. Its story offers a vital and inspiring lesson for timid and oppressed nations across Africa, demonstrating that true development and sovereignty must be built from within. I wish to emphasize that true development and sovereignty must be built from within. The GERD was an Ethiopian national dream, realized by Ethiopians. The GERD's journey began as a national dream, but its realization required an unprecedented level of collective action. The GERD was not funded by foreign governments, international banks, or external aid. Especially, no IMF loans and no World Bank loans. Instead, it was financed entirely through the voluntary contributions of the Ethiopian people, both at home and abroad. This mobilization effort cut across social, economic, and political divides. Farmers, civil servants, students, merchants, religious institutions, and countless ordinary citizens bought bonds from the Ethiopian government. Some Ethiopians donated money from their modest earnings. This act of national solidarity is what turned a dream into a powerful, tangible reality. For many African nations, which have often been dependent on foreign aid or loans that come with chains attached, the GERD provides a radical alternative. It shows that by harnessing the collective strength and patriotism of its own people, a country can achieve monumental goals without ceding its sovereignty or bending to external pressures. A similar situation is unfolding in Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali. Will Ghana and the other highly indebted countries in Africa take note and learn? This Ethiopian example is a model for economic empowerment and self-determination. The GERD's profound significance lies in its potential to transform Ethiopia's economy and lift millions out of poverty. At full capacity, the dam is projected to generate over 5,150 megawatts of clean hydroelectric power, providing a reliable and sustainable energy source for homes, industries, and agricultural sectors. A reliable power supply is a prerequisite for industrialization and modern economic growth. With the GERD, Ethiopia is now positioned to significantly expand its manufacturing base, improve agricultural productivity through irrigation, and reduce its dependence on expensive and environmentally damaging petroleum products. This energy independence is a crucial lesson for other African countries. For too long, many have been held back by inadequate infrastructure and energy shortages, which stifled industrial growth and kept them at the lower end of the global value chain. The GERD demonstrates that by strategically investing in their own natural resources, nations can lay the foundation for sustainable and self-driven economic development. The dam is expected to generate over $1 billion annually, not only from domestic use, but also from the export of surplus power to neighboring countries like Sudan, Djibouti, and Kenya. This creates a new revenue stream for Ethiopia. More importantly, it fosters economic interdependence and regional integration. This is a model that empowers nations to take control of their economic destiny, rather than waiting for so-called aid that comes with strings attached. But there have been opposition from Egypt and Sudan. Let's find out why. Some countries have portrayed the GERD as a source of conflict, but the reality is different. There are two main tributaries of the Nile, the White Nile and the Blue Nile. The two merge in Khartoum in Sudan to form the Nile River proper. The longer White Nile originates in the very bosom of Black Africa in the Lake Victoria Basin. Countries that surround Lake Victoria are the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Uganda, Kenya, Burundi, and Tanzania. The shorter Blue Nile flows from Lake Tana in Ethiopia. The only source of the Blue Nile is Ethiopia. Now this is where this story becomes impossible to explain. A 1929 Anglo-Egyptian treaty and another one in 1959, the Egypt-Sudan Agreement, gave the waters of the Nile exclusively to Egypt and Sudan. Note that these two countries do not contribute to the source of the Nile, but only receive water that originated from Ethiopia and the other African countries surrounding Lake Victoria. So what sense do these treaties make? Ethiopia's GERD Dam brings in cooperation and justice. Despite this opposition, the true potential of this Ethiopian dam lies in its ability to foster regional cooperation and shared prosperity. By becoming a regional power hub, Ethiopia is positioned to strengthen its ties with its neighbors through energy trade. Energy sharing is a powerful tool for promoting peace and stability. When countries rely on each other for essential resources like electricity, they have a vested interest in maintaining a peaceful and cooperative relationship. The GERD, therefore, serves as a cornerstone of the African Union's Agenda 2063, which envisions a more integrated and prosperous continent. Is this another lesson for timid and oppressed African nations? Yes, of course. For timid and oppressed nations, the GERD's completion offers another critical lesson. It shows that standing firm on principles of equitable and reasonable use of shared resources can lead to a more just outcome. As we have seen for a long time, colonial-era treaties, which were signed without the consent or consideration of the upstream nations like Ethiopia, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Congo, and Burundi, granted downstream countries like Egypt and Sudan a near monopoly over the waters of the Nile River. These outdated agreements disregarded the development needs of countries like Ethiopia, which contributes over 85% of the Nile's water flow. By asserting its sovereign right to utilize its natural resources for the benefit of its people, Ethiopia has challenged this colonial legacy and championed a new, more just framework for water governance. The country's commitment to the Nile Basin Cooperative Framework Agreement, CFA, signed in 2010, shows a preference for a modern, basin-wide governance system over an archaic, biased one. This approach serves as a beacon for other nations facing similar challenges with shared resources, encouraging them to pursue fair and cooperative solutions rooted in modern international law and in the principles of equity. A beacon of hope and African resilience. The GERD story is a living testament to the power of African resilience and determination. In the face of intense diplomatic pressure, a misinformation campaign, and even threats, Ethiopia held firm in its commitment to the project. It demonstrated that a nation, united in purpose, can overcome external obstacles and assert its right to development. The project is a symbol of the African Renaissance, a movement of cultural and economic revitalization across the continent. It showcases Africa's capacity for innovation, self-financing, and large-scale engineering feats, dispelling the long-held and often racist stereotypes of a continent mired in helplessness. For nations seeking to escape the cycle of poverty and foreign dependency, the GERD offers a powerful, tangible lesson. And the lesson is this: true liberation and progress are not granted, they are earned. The dam's success is a direct result of the Ethiopian people's collective sacrifice and unwavering belief in their country's potential. It is a source of immense pride, not just for Ethiopians, but for all Africans who aspire to build a future of prosperity and self-determination. The GERD shows that the path to a brighter future begins with the will to take charge of one's own destiny, to pool resources, and to stand united in the face of adversity. This is the ultimate lesson of the GERD, a beacon of hope that illuminates the path for a new, confident, and self-reliant Africa. It proves that the Nile, and by extension Africa's future, is not the monopoly of a few, notably despotic and corrupt politicians, among others, but a shared legacy to be managed for the benefit of all.